Game of Thrones talk.
I would love to get through some games.
Yeah, there's a lot of great content. I've been waiting for this month in particular. This part of this month has been hard scoped for quite some time.
I liked the episode a lot, and it's interesting to me because this is the kind of episode I normally don't like. Right, I would say the plot wasn't advanced a ton. Right, it was really just setting the table for the following episode. But man, did I like it anyway! Like
there was great character development, and a lot of like relationships were like, you got those characters that meet again after being away for so long, like Arya and the Hound, and like to see how each of them has changed. He's not as scary and evil as he once was, and she has become this. He even says it. He's like, "You're a cold bitch, aren't you?" Like, dude, it's great.
So I didn't catch it on watching it live, but like, you go to Reddit and the internet and they like fill you in on like, this is a line he used from season 3, episode 4, where he said, like, I'm gonna mess up.
You're too kind.
You're too kind. You're as you might have called her gentle, or probably you're too kind. And he's like, that'll get you killed. And then this time he's like, you're a stone-hearted bitch. That's probably why you're still alive. The second half of that I got right.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Podrick fucking came in like an all-star. I saw one, like, what could Podrick not do?
I've always liked Podrick. He's a champion.
I liked him as soon as he fucked those whores.
Podrick can lay down some dick. He can put wine away. He can fight like a champion now. Like he's clearly been training like for 8 years now. Like he's out there like outside the gates of Winterfell, just ting ting tung tung tung. Not even close. Not even close.
I think everyone remembers Podrick, but back in season 1 or 2, probably 2 or 3, they set him up with these whores. I forget why, and he was so wonderful they refused payment
as a reward for saving Tyrion at the Battle of Blackwater.
Oh well, thank you. And that's just added to his legend. So now that he's like a badass, and then Gendry. I mean, is it Gendry? Gendry. I'm going for.
Gendry. Yeah.
Gendry. He's actually. I feel like you guys said he had no muscle definition for a blacksmith. I thought he was pretty built. No.
Yeah, he's in good shape. I just wish he was rippling. You know what I mean?
I wish that he was. Why? Like, because
I just think
should have made him do
like,
you know how they have full body routines for all the characters? They should have like made him do one where half of it is just right arm curls. Like get a lot of off balance going, because that's what blacksmiths look like probably in my brain.
I like Gendry as a character. I like the actor, but if I had in a perfect world, I wish that he was fucking like scary ripped, because not only is he Robert Baratheon's son, who was a giant in his own right and an incredible physical specimen in his time. Obviously, he'd gotten fat and gone downhill with his whoring and drinking by the time we saw him. But we hear about the Warhammer crushing Aegon's chest plate and the rubies flying everywhere, and you know, some young highborn lad come running at me, thought he could end the war with a swing of a sword. I crushed him like a bug. You know, all that crazy hardcore shit.
God, it was a good day.
God, it was a good day. and then, you know, Gendry's not only from that bloodline, but he's also a blacksmith, a very physically...
And he should be taller.
He should be taller, if we're being honest.
Like, Sansa's character is hilarious for me in that her walking around at like a 5'9" woman really reveals how short actors are.
I think she might be taller. I'll figure out.
5'9" is pretty tall for a woman.
She looks fucking 5'11". How tall is Sansa?
But I think like the surrounding cast, like Theon's not very tall. Jon Snow is very short. They even poked fun at him, or Daenerys did at least, because she's used to like that Khal Drogo walking into the ball feeling dainty, but she couldn't do that with Jon.
It wasn't obvious that she was going to be that tall in season 1. Am I right or wrong?
You're right. You know, she had puberty. Like, and Taylor's almost exactly correct. She's like 5'8" and 3/4". So,
okay, yeah.
A lot of short fellas.
There's like that cast has grown up in front of us. Oh my god, which is like the big storyline this time. For people, look, we're about to spoil the heck out of last week's Game of Thrones, last season, episode 2. So, Ari, what's her name? The little
Arya.
I was gonna get it right. All right, so Arya decides she's with the Hound and the Brotherhood of Banners guy. What's his name? Do you guys know with the eye patch?
Thorin or something like Thoros?
Start with a B.
No. Thoros of Myr was the fire priest.
He died.
And Beric Dondarrion. That's the name of the
That's what
lightning
I'm
guy.
going for. So she's with them, and she's like, and everyone's accepted that they're gonna die. This whole episode is just filled with people who don't think they're gonna win, which is amazing to me. Like as the way it developed. And she's like, I'm not gonna spend my last night alive with you two sour cunts or whatever. And then she goes and fucks Gendry, and everyone's talking about it. Everyone,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I was surprised when it happened, but like, you know, like she's 22 years old in real life, and the character's 18 years old in the show. And it's like you know, what's the big deal? Like I know she looks kind of young, like she has a young face, I suppose, but it wasn't even that explicit. We saw a little bit of top ass cleavage and like some side boob.
Yep.
And like a possibly CGI'd nipple. Like I wasn't.
What's the final decision on the nipple? Was it a pasty CGI or au natural?
There's no way to know. There's no way to know because like the titties that we know for sure have been CGI, we only knew because it got leaked that they were CGI. Like when Lena Headey did her walk of shame, you know, I was like, damn, she looks good. And then I was like, wait a minute, I've seen 300. Those are not her titties. They not only did they give her fake titties, they gave her better titties. like that she
did she have a whole body double, or am I?
She gives her
do I
head
misremember
on
that?
someone else's body.
Yeah, because she was pregnant at the time, wasn't she? So she couldn't
Sure,
do
good
the walk of
Pregnant
shame.
or just had a baby? I think it might be the latter, but I'm not sure.
And I want to say there was a scene back with the sand snakes when they're in the prison cell with Bronn, and Bronn is like having that, you know, he's in his cell and they're in theirs, and the chick shows those perfect fucking titties, and I've from what I understand, those were also CGI titties, which is a damn shame.
You know, this is not fair to women, that they're now setting the expectation for men for perfect CGI tits. And I haven't heard nearly enough from my feminist sisters condemning this.
Yes,
we
all
want
those
real,
poor
saggy, breastfeeding titties out there. Think back in the day, back in olden days, they didn't have underwire.
Not upon.
What brings saggy titties? I don't even know.
The breast milk inflates them, and then it goes out, and it's just like when a fat person loses weight, there's extra skin.
And it's the same with like a lifetime of
like what's is it big boob? Well, big boobs sag more. That's a thing.
Sure.
Smokers, smoking makes your skin age like that. Something to do with constricting blood.
Big
vessels.
boobs do sag more. That was Newton's third law of tits.
Yep.
Does breastfeeding do it normally? I don't know.
No, it's just what Kyle said, where the breasts get bigger because they're holding milk. Then you don't need milk anymore after you finish breastfeeding, and they sag more. But a lot of it also is whether or not you go through a lifetime of holding them up with bras, because women have lots of kids here and they breastfeed, but they wear bras every day, and their tits aren't nearly as saggy as like the cover of National Geographic. Somewhere where there
rough
is,
titties.
you know, because they're living their whole life with no support at all, and so it's just a constant battle against gravity. And they also have way more children, and so that the number of children might actually be more the reason than the.
You would think that those like African guys' balls would just be just down in the brush, you know, from no support in their underwear, no MeUndies, holding those coconuts up.
Yeah,
So
I don't want that to happen. I don't want to get old man balls.
Breastfeeding is a cause. So is gaining weight during pregnancy, according to this website.
Right.
That makes sense, because gaining weight anytime can make your tits saggier.
Dual threat.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed a lot of the literal fireside chats that our favorite characters had in the show. You know, when I saw them convening around that fire, and slowly the group grew with, you know, our favorite characters. Really, some of them at this point, all of our less favorite. I mean, there's so many people who have died at this point. There aren't too many cunts left.
Favorite,
around.
not favorite, all have died. Like,
yeah. And the Giants Bane guy tells that hilarious story.
Wonderful. Yeah.
It tells that hilarious story, and he's looking at the big woman like this is really gonna get her wet.
This, when she finds out how much the giant boob sucking I've done, I don't know that she'll be able to resist me. It is his thought process. And,
this is such a hardcore manly story. This is gonna get her fucking. Her armor is going to be rusty tomorrow.
Oh man, I hope that they get together. Everyone does, or
if they
not.
do, he's going to rape her.
Dude,
like that's the way it's going to happen. He's
it
gonna
could go either way.
You're responding to my advances. She's like, please stop. And he's like, oh, you know what gets me going?
If they put them together, then I'm psyched about that. If they don't, and Game of Thrones denies me what I want, I'm kind of psyched about that. I look forward to where this is going.
This is such a little thing, though. I want him to give it to... Actually, I don't know if I really want him to give it to us, because I feel like, I think Kyle made this point last week, that it's almost transitioning into like a crowd-pleasing thing, where they're starting to give you more of what you want, and there's the plot devices that are kind of working around things. So, yeah, I want him to start not giving us what we want anymore.
Dude, did you see that chart on living versus dead? Like the tiers on how likely they are to survive the next episode?
Yeah, no. I did. Do you have that in front of you?
No.
Oh, if not, no big deal. But I know what you're talking about.
I wish I could get it. But man, I should have bookmarked it. Silly me.
I like Sansa's costume in this episode. She had like this leather. It looked a little bit like that thing the Unsullied wear. This whole leather thing with like shoulder pads and stuff. It was pretty fucking cool. They do a great job with the costume in that show, and I think that's something that gets overlooked with like film and television shows, especially those that are set in the period pieces. Is what I'm looking for. And this isn't necessarily a period piece. It's a magical sort of make believe world, but essentially it's medieval times. And to get that looking right, if the armor looks cheap, or if like the dresses that the ladies were wearing at like the wedding looked like some sundress that they got off some altered prom dress from a thrift store, like it really take you out of it. That's one of the things that made Lord of the Rings so great was
definitely
the wardrobe.
Because there's no point during Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, for that matter, where you're taken out of the story by being like, oh, that guy's armor looks like he got it at Dollar General.
No, it looks fucking legit. It looks heavy. It looks real. It looks weathered and rusted in some instances. It looks great. And but yeah, this was a good episode. I really dug it. They're here now. There's no getting around that next episode is going to be a big fucking battle. We're going to see what's
early
coming.
on, too. I do not expect it to be the last 6 minutes of the next episode.
It's supposed to be like the longest battle scene ever or something. Or is that some other scene later in the series?
We don't. I don't know, and I don't want to know. But a battle is happening next episode, so I'm jazzed about that. I don't want it to be all battles. I didn't need 6 episodes of battles, but I expect a battle. We've been coming to a head here for 8 years. There's going to be some fighting at the end of this, right?
I expect
like the Night King,
the opening 10 minutes for at least to see the enemy. Look, you've done it. You set the table. You set the table so well. You spent an entire hour just getting into the character development and how they're feeling the night before the battle. You can't set the table for another 40 minutes. In the opening 10 minutes, shit needs to happen.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I hope that that Tyrion or someone like that, they sort of set things up for Tyrion to have a bright idea. She's talked about how foolish he's been and the stupid mistakes he's made. I'm hoping that someone has a secret plan, kind of like Tyrion had at Blackwater Bay, to deal with the army, at least to some extent. I don't know if you noticed, but I don't know what you call them, but on the castle walls on the top, there's like space and then a brick and then space.
On the battlements.
They have dragon glass like plastered in all over that, like facing out. I thought that was kind of cool. And obviously everybody has dragon glass weapons. I want to know what Arya's secret weapon is that she had Gendry make for her.
Didn't we see it? It was a type of staff. And she said,
but we don't know what it does.
Oh, okay.
There was something mechanical going on in her little artwork there. It looks like a spear that like automatically spring loads
like
jabs.
A harpoon kind of thing, or like one of those things you shoot into sharks.
I saw a sort of a cartoon animation on Reddit where they were like, I hope this is what Arya's weapon does. And she throws it at the Night King and he catches it. And then it goes, cha-cha! And like comes through and stabs him in the face. It like spring load. That
would be the lamest gimmicky end to this show.
Give it to me.
To the whole Game of Thrones, you accept that, Kyle?
Yeah, through all of Game of Thrones, and then it has a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids style ending.
Dude, it's that scene from the first Avengers where Loki catches the arrow and then it blows up anyway.
Exactly that.
Oh, yeah, was it exactly that? Like the meme you saw? Did it reference that scene?
Well, no. Basically, it like he catches it and then it like jabs out. Like it's like the tip of it is spring loaded so that it'll like extend out on like a spring loaded type mechanism. That's what they sort of depicted. Yeah, that's happened a few times in sort of pop culture. That's how. That's when I think Green Arrow or whatever. I wasn't green. Maybe shot Superman with the kryptonite arrow. He catches it and then it goes poof, and like kryptonites his ass.
I'm so happy that we're all so excited about Game of Thrones, right? Because there's been a couple of years where 2 episodes in, 3 episodes in, the talk of the town is like Fuck, is this gonna get going? Meh. Last season was better. That's a thing we've been hearing a lot. You know, they're not now that I want to say somewhere around season 5-ish. Though now that they diverted from the books, things suck. Now that they've done this at like 5, 6, 7, they're always complaining.
Yeah, that Sand Snake shit and all that Dorne stuff. It was a real like sad time for me where I would finish an episode and be like, well, fuck.
Not
Yeah,
now.
I don't care
stuff.
about the Sand Snakes. If they need like 40 more minutes or an hour more to explain the little intricacies of the ending of this show, the blame lies at the feet of the Sand Snake storyline. Fuck that storyline. It was so goddamn boring. I even like as I was like watching it through with my girlfriend, like catching her up a couple months ago. I even told her going into it, I'm like, yeah, this is the storyline they just like shoehorned in there for no reason. It's not very good. And within 15 minutes of her listening to that or watching it with me, she's like, yeah, this is boring. This is stupid. Like,
dude, can we talk about
Tyrion,
this?
Go back to Arya. Yeah, sure.
All right, viewers, I need to get on screen somehow.
So you got all the characters, and you got them in a tiered death setting, death pool. Where you got very safe, probably safe, in danger, and fucked.
On Grey Worm, they just say laugh my ass off.
Yeah,
so dead. I
not-
disagree with that
not
one.
Surviving.
I'll take a bet on that one. I guarantee
Really?
that guy lives. Yeah, that guy lives.
There was some compelling. Like, what did they say? Every time, like the black guy leaves the hood and starts planning his future, they kill him. That's like a movie trope. So he's there with what is his girl's name? The one who speaks
like
all the languages.
Melisandre or
Melisandre.
Masandi? No.
Masandi, you're right. Yeah.
Masandi.
Yeah, so they're there talking about their future, that like that how he's going to protect her and stuff, and that is just death for his character. It would seem.
I disagree with this chart. I feel like characters like the very safe. I could totally see Jamie like completing his entire like villain to hero arc by giving his life to save Bran. Even like I could totally see that happening. I could see Jon Snow possibly dying, and characters like Sansa or Arya, totally could see either one of them dying. It could
Jaime
happen.
or Tyrion are supposed to kill Cersei, according to that like season 3 witch chick who told the future, the prophecy.
It's going to be Jaime.
Now it's possible that one dies and kills her as a white.
A white, yeah, that's an interesting thought. It really is.
I don't think the Hound is that safe either.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. Oh, I wanted to go backtrack a little bit. Jorah getting that sword from Sam was big for me. That was great. That was so great because Jorah gave his sword to Jon last season. Like here, you get, or maybe a season before. Is like, you got to have one of these badass motherfucking crazy swords. And he's like, oh yes, it's nice. Yes, thank you for giving that back to me. And I was just like, damn, that is a huge gift that he's given him. And then here comes old fat Sam, who hasn't lost weight in the last 8 years somehow.
Yeah.
Look.
We've got a food shortage again.
How did you walk from, is it Old Town, Old City, wherever he came from, the Citadel, all the way to Winterfell and not lose weight?
Sam, you're literally the only man in the world who's morbidly obese. Only one. You're a marvel.
This is 9 Appalachian hikes.
What's your secret? Certainly not sneaking into the kitchen after hours. Certainly not that.
I didn't need the baby. What baby?
Willie and I are
Sam, I haven't seen little Sam in quite a while. Where is he? I don't know.
Well, it's not that. It's Gilly and I are into food play.
Dude, I'm looking at...
He puts entire 7-course meals on me till I feel smothered. And we don't even fuck afterward.
I'm looking at this...
my weird, ugly face.
Sansa and the Hound should be switched.
Perhaps. It's hard to say.
Maybe. Yeah, Sansa will stay alive for a while.
Fucking writers, like in season 1, you never would have thought that who was the mother Stark? Her name, Catelyn. You'd never have bet that Catelyn was going to die if you didn't know Game of Thrones. Like even knowing Game of Thrones, that's not the character you think is going to get their throat slit.
Dude, Lady Stoneheart comes, maybe, right?
No,
is she able to resist the white thing? And you.
It's just been so long. It would come so far out of left field if
that
like, suddenly Lady Stoneheart is back.
I'm gonna again. We're doing spoilers here, but for people who didn't read the book, Catelyn gets her throat slit in the Red Wedding, just like happens in the TV shows. But in the books, she comes back. I think she can't talk because of the knife damage.
Yeah.
And she's undead, but she's a different person. She's no longer so kind. Now she's on a mission to get revenge for her kids. Maybe, does that sound right?
Yeah, she's out to kill she's killing the fucking who are the people that betrayed them at the Red Wedding? The Freys. Like, she's killing Frey kids and shit like that. But yeah, I'm
so she
excited
comes
for
back
next.
as an undead vigilante. And I just look, yeah, it'd be fun to see. I'd love to see her amongst the whites, and you're like, what? And then she starts killing whites or something. I don't know.
It'd take them so long to set that up. They decided two or 3 years ago that wasn't going to happen. It's a shame because I was expecting it.
I think that's what I'm doing. I'm wish casting, not predicting.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else happened this episode that I thought was great. Oh, I mean, obviously Brienne getting knighted. That was a cool scene.
That was a really good scene. That was one of my favorite of the episode. I like that.
They all nailed it because I cared. I didn't think I cared about that Brienne very much. You know, like she never worked her way into my heart. But suddenly seeing her get knighted, whoa, that was heavy.
She was all teary-eyed and incredibly happy. She's a great actress. That she did a really good job at like selling that this is like the greatest achievement of her life. It's her life's dream to be this thing, but everyone's told her that she, it was Rosa Parks up on the front of that bus just heading to the grocery store.
Having said that, if you're still looking at the thing, it's hard to read on the screen, but under Brienne's picture where it says "fucked," character arc complete. Yeah, dude. You know what else do you need from? Oh wait, she still has to fuck that redheaded dude.
Maybe.
What's his name?
Well, she's Tormund.
Tormund.
She's gonna get killed being valiant as a knight in the battle, and Tormund is gonna survive, and he'll come upon her and be sad. Then he'll be like, "Still warm," and then he's gonna fuck her, and it's gonna be, people are gonna call it the most upsetting scene in Game of Thrones. Did Game of Thrones go too far with Tormund Giantsbane raping a naked Brienne of Tarth in front of the everyone?
How old was Sansa when she got raped
17.
by her husband? Was she 17 in the show, you think?
Correct.
Well, they're in the UK, so that's fine.
That's right.
I guess.
And back,
Is that where they are?
The rape part.
Yeah,
except for the rape part. That's really the troublesome part.
you heard it here. Taylor says it's okay to rape 17-year-olds as long as you're in the UK.
Well, we have to have some standards.
It was international waters.